with the retina, remember that the images are sometimes flipped when you look at them under your microscopes relative to what we see here. Okay, so that'll be important to know. So this, and as it's listed in your manual with the retina, we're going to start by listing the layers starting down here and working our way up, okay? All of this is the retina. So this entire, all that we see is the retina. And the different layers are obviously specific for the function of the retina to capture images. So we'll start with the pigment layer. This layer down here is the pigment layer. It's marked because it has these like black marks almost in it. So everything else, when you see it stained, it's kind of a purple color. But down here, it's like that black almost. Okay, so that's the pigment layer. And then we're going to start right here. I'm going to kind of make this line so you can see it all the way through. This line up, every single layer that we see belongs to an identification here, okay? Now, if you remember back to the very beginning, we were talking about neurons. Remember that they have a body with a nucleus, and then they have axons and dendrites, right? Well, in this, all of the dark purple that we see, these are all nuclei, and then these lighter areas here will be those axons or dendrites, all right? So I'm pointing that out because one single layer is going to be composed of a dark patch of nuclei as well as a lighter patch, okay? So again, starting here, this light patch right here and this dark patch here, both of those together make up the rods and cones. So the rods and cones is a single layer, okay? We can't differentiate between which cell's a rod and which one's a cone. The entire layer is just rods and cones, okay? And again, that's this one light patch here and this dark patch here. Now the next layer we have are bipolar neurons, and bipolar, bi means two, right? So what that means is that there's axons coming out on either side. Okay, so kind of like relaying information from this side to that side. So you see there's a light patch here and a light patch here. Those both belong to the bipolar neurons layer. So we're bipolar, two light patches. It's going to be on either side of the neurons. So everywhere from here to here, that's all bipolar neuron. Okay. Now I know that this is the ending point because we have these dispersed purple nuclei, all right? Remember back from before break, that last Wednesday, we were looking at the cerebellum, and we had Purkinje cells, and they were part of the layer of the gray matter. I explained that they kind of are a breadcrumb trail, right? You don't see them everywhere in the layer, but the Purkinje cells are kind of dispersed throughout, and they look a lot like this. These are the ganglionic neurons, and they follow basically the same pattern. So you have a breadcrumb trail of larger purple nuclei, and then the space above them, okay? So from here to here, that layer will be the ganglionic neurons. I think that's, yep. Any questions?
Just a little layer above.
Yeah, just a little tiny bit there. Now, just kind of to point this out too, there is some variation in this area of the slides that we have. If we were to go along this, you would even see variation. The pigmented layer, remember it's the part with the black. You may or may not have this layer here present, okay? You may simply have pigment layer and then jump right into the other IDs, okay? You may also see breaks like this where there's just nothing there. That's just because when you're plating a retina, as we'll see when we actually dissect the eyes on Wednesday, it's thin. Like I can't even explain to you how thin it is. I don't know, it's super thin, okay? Like I can't even put like a measurement to how thin it is. And so when they're plating this, it's just really easy to get splits like this in the retina, okay? So if you see that, it's not an actual normal split. It's just a problem when they plated the slide, most likely, okay? All right, any questions before we move on to parts of the ear? Yes?
So what is that layer though? Not the split, but the one above
This,
the pigment?
you know, I'd have to look it up. It's like sometimes there, sometimes not, so it's possible that it's part of the pigment layer, it just dyes differently. But I don't know. Question?
I can look it up there if you remind me after the demo. Any other questions?